constantly being reinforced on a daily basis. Keep hammering home the finish aspect, and I think the way you improve on that is you got to be conscious of it.
Before having some extended time off, the Packers will finish up week 3 of OTAs next week. Head coach Matt LaFleur did say it was just for the rookies.
It's just going to be the rookies. I think that was ultimately the tricky part, is where do you cut it off? And so we'll keep the rookies. We'll train them all week. They'll go through some of their rookie development program. And then everybody else will kind of be virtual checking in.
Then once OTAs conclude, training camp will begin for the Packers on July 23rd.
For nearly 40 years, ABC Wisconsin Apprenticeship has been helping men and women transform themselves into highly skilled trade professionals. These skills are in demand and provide strong wages and benefits for a bright future. If you're a hands-on person who likes the feeling when you get projects done, apprenticeship could be for you. Go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search on.
Well, after going 4-2 on their road trip, the Milwaukee Brewers come back to American Family Field tonight. They'll take on the Phillies. First pitch coming at 6:40. The Brewers currently sit 41-25 on the year, 4 games above the Cardinals for first place in the NL Central. And finally, the Milwaukee Bucks. The NBA draft is upcoming. They own the 10th overall pick, but could get more if they decide to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
I think X, Shamar Bartholomew, Jalen Simpson, Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn, Evan, Bull, they've all been great and just embraced me. And I can't thank that corner room enough. And Devin Sirens are over there. They've just been great towards me. Everybody in that DB room has been amazing to play with. And there's somebody I look forward to keep learning from. Just keep being yourself, trust your ability and just keep making sure that you're putting in extra time because the sky's the limit. And just making sure that you're coachable, make sure that you come in every day ready to work, be a pro, and that's just something I'm trying to embrace.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
It's one of the newer Packers, Brandon Cisse. That's where I want to start tonight. Not with Brandon Cisse. I don't know the first thing about him. He's a rookie. I don't know if he's going to be any good. But you heard him there talk about Xavier McKinney. It all starts with him. Asked, who he's learning from, who's guiding him so far in Packers camp or practice or whatever this is. First name out of his mouth, Xavier McKinney. I want to start there. I want to talk a little bit about Xavier McKinney. That'll get the ball rolling tonight. It's the Wisco Sports Show. My name is Grant Bills. Fins up. It is Friday. I'm glad you're here. It's going to be a fun show tonight. I have a hockey thing that I want to talk about. I'm not an expert, but something that I've noticed during the Stanley Cup Finals that I think is pertinent to casuals like me. And those of you who are really hardcore into hockey, well, today is your opportunity to call in and educate me if you feel so inclined. It's a Free Phones Friday, so I'll take your calls on whatever, but an opportunity if you want to jump in for a segment and engage in some hockey conversation, you are welcome to do that at 608-321-1670. If you have any thoughts on the World Cup so far, I haven't watched any of it. Whatever. I'm a bad sportsman, I know. I don't minimize the importance of the World Cup. It's the biggest event. It's the great game. I just haven't watched it. I'll watch tonight. Luckily, I've enlisted an expert or someone who does a lot of time talking about soccer and the World Cup very passionately. Bart Winkler is going to be here at 5 o'clock for 2 segments. I was lucky enough to recruit Bart for 2 segments. We recorded earlier this morning because he's out on the town. He's going to watch parties and different groups at different bars to watch different countries. So I actually recorded with Bart this morning. We did 2 segments, one on the World Cup, and then we talked a little bit about Giannis and a little bit about the Packers as well. You'll hear that in the second hour. A hilarious comment from Mike Clemens that I cut, and I want to share with you in hour number 2 as well. That's kind of the lay of the land tonight. You want to jump in, like I said, it's a Free Phones Friday, so we can talk about whatever you want. You want to talk Brewers? Go nuts. The phone, I'll go to you in the first segment if you're ready. 608-321-1670 in the live stream up and running. YouTube, the Wisco Sports Zone app, on my Twitter, at Wisco Grant. Lots of places to watch and listen. So earlier on Bill's show today, we were listening a little bit to Brandon Cisse, like I said, and I thought he was well-spoken. Seems like an interesting cat. I hope he is good because the Packers need more good corners. They're getting held hostage. It would seem, depending on who you listen to, I know Jason Wilde's talked about this, they're getting held hostage by Keyshawn Nixon, which, look, I know we all make fun of the Arizona Cardinals because they're getting held hostage by by Jacoby Brissett. The Packers are getting held hostage, or possibly, I don't know. I'm going to take Jason Wilde's word for it that there's a contract thing going on there. Say, man, they're getting held at gunpoint by Keyshawn Nixon. Well, yeah, that's because they don't have anyone else. They have Carrington Valentine and a rookie, Brandon Cisse. Just like the Cardinals, yeah, Jacoby Brissett and the idea of him demanding more money is kind of funny, but who else? Who else do you have? They just cut Kyler Murray. I don't think they drafted a quarterback. If they did, it wasn't in the first round or two. So nothing like that. You know, part of these players and asking for their contract, it's not just their performance, but it's the leverage, right? How badly does the team need me? Last year, I pointed out, the Packers didn't need to extend Elgton Jenkins. They had just drafted a player. They had just signed a player on the O-line. They drafted a corner, but one corner is not going to cut it. They really need Keyshawn Nixon. Maybe they are forced to deal with his contract. So Brandon Cisse is a part of that. But back to my original point, he mentioned Xavier McKinney very early when he was asked about the help that he's getting from veterans.
I think Shamar Bartholomew, Jalen Simpson, Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn, Evan, Bull, they've all been great and just embraced me. And I can't thank that corner room enough. And Devin Shirens are over there. They've just been great towards me. Everybody in that DB room has been amazing to play with. And there's somebody I look forward to keep learning from.
So I think Xavier McKinney is very good. I don't have anything bad to say about Xavier McKinney. I wish he would have caught more interceptions last year, but I don't have anything bad to say about Xavier McKinney, the player. I wonder about the limits of the defense, and I wonder about the ceiling of the Packers defense when their best player on the backside of the defense doesn't hit. Xavier McKinney's not really a hitter. Now, he impacts the game in all sorts of ways. And again, 2 years ago when he first got to Green Bay, he finished the year with 8 interceptions. He was tremendous. I think he had 1 in each of the first couple games, then they kind of stopped throwing at him. Last year, he had 2. And I think I could, think off the top of my head, a couple that he dropped. He needs to have more interceptions. But he turned the ball over very well in his first year. I would imagine he would figure out a way to catch the ball again this year. His work ethic, the way he speaks for the team, Jeff Hafley from day one is basically like, this guy is a dream player to coach. Like, I like Xavier McKinney. I wonder what limits he has as a player, and I wonder, by extension, what limits the Packers defense has. He's not really a hitter. And I think that's why they really like Javon Bullard, and they should. They need someone on that back end who's going to hit. And I think of really good defenses that the Packers have played against in my lifetime, really good defenses with good safeties. I think of the Niners and Talanoa Hufanga. That guy would lay the wood. The Legion of Boom had Cam Chancellor. That guy was a bam, bam, Cam. He was a hitter. Xavier McKinney is slimmer. He's more of a center fielder. He plays center field like Blake Perkins. Cam Chancellor or Hufanga, they play center field like Carlos Gomez. I need someone with a little more violence. I think that's why Javon Bullard is a big part of this defense, or needs to be a big part of this. If Xavier McKinney is going to intercept 2 passes this year, as he did last year, I think this defense is limited, especially because I'm not really sure about their defensive line. And by the way, extend this Xavier McKinney thought, which is just a little seed I'm working on. Like, I'm trying to figure out the ceiling of a player like Xavier McKinney, because Adrian Amos was similar. Adrian Amos was not a masher. He wasn't a hitter. He was a very graceful center fielder, and he would intercept passes, but I don't remember him transforming the Packers defense. I remember him being a very nice player, and I think I would say the same about Xavier McKinney. It's not often I watch on Sundays and say, wow, he is transformed. He transformed the job that defense did today. I think the same of Edgerrin Cooper. Fast, talented. I need to turn the TV on this fall and see him hitting, popping, violence, behind the line of scrimmage, guys going backwards, violent plays. I don't know that there are enough players on this Packers defense that do that. And that's supposed to start, or that should start, with your best players. And their best players after Micah Parsons, in no particular order, I think would be Edgerrin Cooper, Xavier McKinney. And I don't know that either one of them. Need a little bit of that. Need a little bit of that thing. That's my thought on this at this time. It's not really something that I started thinking about before this afternoon, because I was just listening to Brandon Cisse talk about Xavier McKinney. I just wonder, when he's one of their better defenders, especially if he's only going to intercept 2 balls. That's all he did last year. And I think 1 or 2 of them was on like a 4th down that was a bad one. Against the Browns was like a bad interception. I just wonder where's the pop coming from? If it's not coming from your best players, okay, fine. It's got to come from somewhere. I think a Bullard. Is Franklin going to dole that out? I don't know. Deny Dennis Sutton? Keyshawn Nixon? Definitely not Valentine. Nixon can tackle, but I don't know if he's, that guy. And to be fair, most corners aren't. Just a Packers thought to get the ball rolling. It's a Free Phones Friday. I'll come right to you as promised. 608-321-1670. Your thoughts on anything. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Alex and Madison.
Alex, good evening.
Oh, what a beautiful day outside, isn't it?
No kidding. I went to Phil's place, Woodman's. That's what I call Woodman's. Before work this morning to get some beer for somewhere I got to be tonight. And that's always when you start Friday before work at the liquor store. That's a very exciting, good feeling, especially this time of year.
Oh, especially at Phil's place,
I paid a visit to Phil. Oh, what a selection! Walked right by so much Yingling, and I walked right by it. It felt great.
You're right, exactly. Hey, I got two Packers things for you. One semi-related to the Packers. The other's pretty related to the Packers.
Okay.
So, personally, I know we need the cornerback depth, but I'm a little over. I think the Keyshawn Nixon, song and dance. I don't know. We're holding out, and it's just, I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me, especially after last year. Some of the plays, like he kind of just gave up on them, and ended up turning the tide of the game. Like I don't know if you remember that Dallas game. It looked like Prescott was just throwing it out of bounds, and he just left him wide open, and that led to that tie. And then I believe it was either the Bears playoff game or the second Bears playoff game. A very similar thing happened. So I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it. I know they really need the depth, but I just don't think you can pay them at this rate.
All right. So I agree with all of that. I'll expand on it. But what's your second thought before I let you go, Alex?
So World Cup. Soccer is easily the one I know least about, but Antonio Freeman's son, I believe he is starting. Packers legend. I believe he's starting right field, right front. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know much about soccer, but I think that's absolutely amazing that we've got a Green Bay Packers connection to that. His son has been working his butt off. He's going to be starting tonight. I think that's just absolutely incredible.
It's very cool, Alex. It gives us something to follow. I appreciate the call. It gives us a connection, which I need because soccer's not my main thing. I'll watch. I'll participate. As you'll hear me tell Bart in the second hour as a sports talk radio guy, I'll come for the content. I hope to stay for some of the soccer. Any of the stories and the reaction, I'll take all of it because it's a slow time of year in the sports schedule as well. And Bill was talking about that. I think it was Bill Schroeder who was on yesterday with him. Is it Bill Schroeder, Dave Schroeder, the guy who played wide receiver at UWL? And I'm sorry, I always get him confused. I think they were talking about Antonio Freeman's son yesterday on the show, so that's cool. On Nixon, the player's fine. I like the player. I can't have all the other stuff. I can't have the dumb penalties, and I can't have you giving up on plays. If he just plays the cornerback position at the level that he's capable of playing it without all the other stuff, great player. And to be clear, he's not holding out. This is not an active situation. It's just been posited by some in the know, Jason Willie most notably. That's like, this could be a thing. So we brought it up. We've addressed it, but it's not like he's holding out and he's MIA and the Packers can't get a hold of him. He was there. He's being a participant. It's just something that, keep that in the back of your mind. Line number 2, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Fins up, Grant. Happy Friday.
Fins up, Vagabond John.
Love the Packers defensive talk. Always gets me going on a Friday afternoon. Hey, I was reading this article on PFF about Jeff Hafley and how he's going to overhaul the scheme for Miami. Kind of useful to see, how does the rest of the league perceive what Green Bay's defense was last year, and how do they think Jeff Hafley's going to go and make an immediate impact? Mm-hmm. One of the interesting pieces is they're talking about how when Jeff Hafley came to Green Bay, he really had to do more with less, right? And I just think about how stark contrast that is to kind of how Packer fans perceive the talent level of the defense. We've talked a lot about that over the years. But they mentioned the number one piece that they added, obviously, before Jeff Hafley called the snap in year 1, Xavier McKinney. In year 2, Micah Parsons. The Dolphins don't have any of that going on. So they're talking about his blitz rates, and I think this is related to kind of your comment on Xavier McKinney. Jeff Hafley had one of the lowest blitz rates in the NFL, right? And so when you're thinking about playing that deep cover 2, right, they led the NFL, or they're top 5 in the NFL at cover 2 usage. Mm-hmm. I think that's what you see. Xavier McKinney is playing cover 2. He's responsible for taking away a deep half of the field. And last year, the Packers faced, they were 5th fewest, I'm seeing here in this article, 5th fewest in yards of passing, attempts of 20 or more yards downfield. And
so he kept he kept a lid on things. He did his job based on what you're telling me.
He kept the lid on things. Quarterbacks avoided him. That's why you don't see a lot of picks. And of course, there were a couple dropped in there, opportunities to get a couple, sure. But compared to the year previously, it was kind of a different scheme. And when you think about transitioning from Joe Barry, of course, then to Jeff Hafley, you went from a top 10 blitz rate back down to a bottom. I think there were like bottom 3 in the NFL in terms of blitz rate. So what does new guy Jonathan Gannon do? I think Xavier McKinney is a talented enough player where he can be physical or play that kind of skilled deep cover guy. And it's going to really be interesting to see how a new defensive scheme comes in. Are they going to get back to blitzing and playing aggressive defense? Or are they going to play super soft? And, people thought Joe Barry was soft. Jeff Hafley, by all the numbers, was way softer. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how he uses these pieces.
So great call, Vagabond John. There's some good meat on that bone to discuss with the Packers defense. It is funny because I was thinking the same thing when you were saying that. It's like we criticize Joe Barry. Well, it's so soft. It's too high. And Joe Barry, probably more than Jeff Hafley, had a reason to play that way. His personnel wasn't as good. He didn't have Micah Parsons or Edgerrin Cooper or Xavier McKinney. I have no problem with a too high, keep a lid on style defense. It's what most of the NFL runs most of the time with good reason. Because you're trying to avoid home run plays the same way in baseball. You don't want to give up home runs because those runs are free and easy. Make the team hit singles, make them run the bases, make them do all the things. And it's the same on offense. Where I think Jeff Hafley really struggled last year is, okay, we put a lid on the offense. Now, how do we get off the field? And the Giants game comes to mind as a brilliant example where who was the running back? Kind of like a sneaky fantasy name. And maybe it was Tyrone Tracy, had a really good day, but for the most part, for the first 3.5 quarters, it was never runs of more than 3.5, 4 yards at the most. They were forcing a ton of fourth down situations. Where I think Jeff Hafley's defense came up short last year, and what Jonathan Gannon has to figure out this year is, okay, we put a lid on the offense, we force them to go underneath, we force them to go inch by inch down the field. We get them into third down in an advantage in a spot where we have an opportunity to get off the field. Now, how are you going to get off the field? Because Jeff Hafley's defense in big moments last year kind of sucked at it. Like when you get an offense in 3rd and 8, how are you going to get off the field? That's like a second pitch to me. Well, okay, so our base defense is we want to slow down the offense, limit big plays, force third downs. Great. They were good at that last year. Once you get into third down, then what are you going to do? And I thought they lacked last year. And maybe, Vagabond John, to your point, that's an opportunity where it's like, okay, we're going to use Xavier McKinney or Edgerrin Cooper, one of our pieces, a little differently in an attempt to create a negative play or to create an incomplete pass to get off the field after, in previous downs, we were more so trying to prevent a home run or playing no doubles defense. I agree with all of that. And I am interested to see what Jeff Hafley does in Miami. I think there's a chance he might be a better head coach than defensive coordinator. Problem is in Miami, he doesn't have a whole lot of talent. That's not a place where people go and win. So he'll have to be really good as a head coach to turn that thing around and to build it up. One more call here before our break. Let's go Sports Show. Who's this?
Oh, happy Free Phones Friday, Grant.
Happy Fins up Friday, Cone Roller.
Yeah, is it okay if I just take the show off the rails a little bit from what you were talking?
Please. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I thought about this last night. If you had to, line up Christian Yelich's career as a Brewer to a late 2000s, early 2010s country music artist, who are you comparing that to?
Oh my God. Okay, so I'll think of a good one. I don't want to drag the show down while I'm thinking here. Is there a name that you have thought of that you can get? Do you have the take that you can share while I think about this for a sec?
I don't know if this is disrespectful to Christian Yelich or Cole Swindell, but that was kind of my thought. A couple bangers early on, MVP years. Sunshine and Whiskey.
Yeah.
Hope You Get Lonely Tonight. Just great songs, and then he's kind of pittered out, but he's still making music, and he's on the casino tour right now. And that kind of seems to be where Christian Yelich is. So that's what I came up with.
I don't think that's an insight because Cole Swindell, he would headline Country Jam, Country Fest. He was a headliner. He was a Thursday, Friday night guy at country festivals at his peak. He was big. No, I don't hate that. I think to Christian Yelich's credit, after he kind of disappeared for a few years, he did have an awesome year last year, but he was hurt, so that kind of drags it down. I like the Cole Swindell comp. Over the commercial break, I'm going to try to think of another one that maybe fits this. But I don't know, but I think this is a great example because I think people forget how big Cole Swindell was at his peak.
Yeah, and then you look at like former Brewers, Ryan Braun. I mean, Kenny Chesney, Zach Brown Band.
Yeah. He kept putting out hits.
After banger.
Maybe weren't as big as they were at the beginning, but just always it just always hits. Kenny's probably a good
always
one.
Solid.
Yeah. Okay. You giving me something to think about, Cone. I appreciate the call, unless you have anything else.
No, that was it. Nothing Packer related. Sorry.
No. It's a Free Phones Friday, Cone. Come on. Appreciate the call. 608-321-1670. The thing about Kenny Chesney is I feel like his biggest song is Somewhere With You, and that maybe Kenny Chesney is a better comp for Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers actually won an MVP. Somewhere With You, I think, is his most streamed song on Spotify. That was 2010. When the Sun Came Down came out in like 2002. And he had maybe some down years in the middle, but he still had his fastball 15 years into his career, probably 10 or 12 years into his career after he really started to hit with number ones. Good topic. And Cole Swindell is, we forget how hot Cole Swindell was at his peak. Thank you for reminding the audience of that, Cone. More of your phone calls on the Brewers, the Packers, or anything else. I actually have a Jimmy Buffett thought in this first hour, too, because the Coral Reefer Band experienced a loss earlier this week that we have to talk about for at least a couple minutes. But more of your phone calls next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Shopping for new windows and doors shouldn't feel like a negotiation. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin doesn't believe in games. They never inflate pricing, and there's no high-pressure sales pitch. Just premium windows and doors built for long-term comfort, beauty, and peace of mind. Buy direct through Pella, and one trusted team handles everything with Pella-certified installers every step of the way. Real pricing, premium quality, no games. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at Pella WI.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
I would say, like, there's obviously a long ways to go. There's going to be so many more growing pains and so many more things. But I would say, just the different kinds of coordinators. Every coordinator sees every little thing, every little detail. And that's why you try to make sure that you can improve every weakness so that you don't get anybody to beat on what you do. And you kind of want to be unpredictable. So that's what I would say.
A little bit more from Brandon Cisse. We started the show with a thought on Xavier McKinney, the Packers defense. And a couple good calls on that in the first segment. It's a Free Phones Friday, so call in whatever you want, as Cone Roller did, and say, hey, what 2000s country star would you compare with Christian Yelich, their career trajectories? He said Cole Swindell. I think that's pretty good. Kenny Chesney might be a little bit too heavy because Kenny Chesney's more like Aaron Rodgers. Incredible, and then 10 or 15 years later, still incredible, puts out his biggest hit somewhere with you. Text from the 715 chimed in and says, what about John Party for Yelich? That's not bad. And I'll add another wrinkle onto this. I think John Party's a good comp because anytime I hear night shift or maybe not head over boots, anytime I hear one of John Party's heavy hitters, I still go, oh yeah, that hits. That still plays. And anytime Christian Yelich hits a home run, it's like I feel like I'm back there in 2018. John Party. Oh my God, John Party. It's been a rig me week. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, this is Logan from Tulsa again.
Hey, what's going on, Logan?
I just wanted to contribute. I think Jake Owen might be a good comp.
Oh, that's a really good one. But he's in the same vein of Cole Swindell. That's similar. I really like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was also curious about your Westtown Mall Chinese experience last night.
Dude, I just had the leftovers right before the show. Yeah, I let the China experience do the cooking last night. I told our coworker RJ, who's on the morning show, I saw him in the break room. I said, yeah, I went to the food court at Westtown Mall because I had to buy something at the mall. I still like going to stores, supporting the local brick and mortars because I want my mall to stay there. I don't want the Westtown Mall or the Easttown Mall to go away.
Sure, it's Friday. Give us the order.
It was a double. It was a combo number 2 with 2 entrees and lo mein. I don't like the rice. And I got an egg roll to eat in the car on the drive home. It was General Tso's chicken and pepper chicken. I like the pepper chicken more. General Tso was pretty spicy, actually. It pushed me.
Hey, you might be feeling the effects tonight into the weekend, but good for you.
Logan, appreciate the call. I got a couple. I tweeted about my China experience last night. And I got a couple replies. It's like, okay, well, you're going to test out the plumbing. People always say that about Taco Bell, too. And sometimes I want to say, you guys need to toughen up. Like, what? You can't have a beefy 5-layer without doing damage in your restroom? Like, grow up. What are you, some sort of, food monk? Can't handle a little grease? Although, food court food, all right, I feel it. I did get some tweets about how, let's just say my plumbing would be tested. And I did watch the hockey game last night. I was getting ready for bed. I'm like, a little dense down there. Feels a little tight. Feels a little tense. Jake Owen is a good one because Jake Owen again had people. You tell kids these days they cannot fathom how big Barefoot Blue Jean Night was. There's certain songs that you just had to be there for, and you can't understand after the fact. Big Green Tractor, Barefoot Blue Jean Night. Cole Swindell's a good one, too. Cole Swindell's, that's a good work, Cone Roller. Appreciate the call, Logan and Tosa. Big Rig Eric says, Dirks Bentley. I don't know. I love settle for a slowdown as much as the next guy. Was his peak high enough? I don't know. That's always my question with quarterbacks. Like Russell Wilson, we're gonna have Hall of Fame conversations. I'm like, was he ever arguably the best guy in the league at the time? No. You say, well, he played with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Okay. But, still, never got an MVP vote. It would be the same with Dirks Bentley. Like, what's Dirks Bentley's best song? What was I thinking him? Sometimes I get Dirks Bentley and the other guy confused. clearly, because I can't remember the other guy's name. But there's two guys I always put in the same bucket. Jake Owen. That's a really good one. I saw him in Panama City Beach in, what was that, 2017? This is what I love about country acts is you can be the biggest name in country radio, and then 4 years later, you can be playing a free stage at Summerfest. That's why I love Billy Currington so much. It's perfect. So many hits for like 15 years. Still awesome. And I can go see him at Summerfest, or like we saw him at the new joint, the Landmark Credit Union Pavilion, Landmark Community Credit Union Pavilion, or something down there by Fiserv. Also, while we're on the topic, I did get tickets to see Zach Top at Fiserv Forum. Marty Stewart opening, stop. Zach Top gets it. More acts should do that, by the way. And I understand it defeats the point of an opener because an opener, like, it's giving a younger, lesser-known band an opportunity to do so I get that. But go older. It's like when my basketball team goes to the bench, sometimes I like getting older. Sometimes I like a 70-year-old opener. Sometimes I want Marty Stewart and his fabulous superlatives instead of like if I had to make up an AI name for a up and coming country artist, it would be like Wendell Worthington. That's actually perfect. That's like, yeah, Wendell Worthington. That's the name of who would be opening for, Ella Langley or whoever's at the top of the country charts right now. It would have to be her. Morgan Wallen. 608-321-1670. I'll give you a hockey thought on the other side and continue to take your phone calls on a Free Phones Friday.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Feel like a negotiation. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin doesn't believe in games. They never inflate pricing, and there's no high-pressure sales pitch. Just premium windows and doors built for long-term comfort, beauty, and peace of mind. Buy direct through Pella, and one trusted team handles everything with Pella-certified installers every step of the way. Real pricing, premium quality, no games. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. This Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Drop back and takes off with the puck. Avo. It comes back. Ehlers, beautiful pass, and they score! Another power play goal for Svechnikov.
John, did you consider at all going to Aiden Hill in the third period, or was there any conversation or thought about it?
Christ, that could be the stupidest question I've heard.
I love a crabby coach, John Tortorella. After the game, did you think of putting anyone other than Carter Hart in the game? He said, "Oh Christ, that's the stupidest question I've ever heard." Like, I am a friend of the media. Many of the beat reporters of our great local teams around the air. So I never like when a coach shows up a media member like that. But come on, it's good.
John, did you consider at all going to Aiden Hill in the third period, or was there any conversation or thought about it?
Christ, that could be the stupidest question I've heard.
Just entertainment value. I'd rather get that answer than, I think everything's always a consideration, which is what LaFleur would say, which would be fine, but it's not as entertaining as this.
Third period, or was there any conversation or thought about it?
Christ, that could be the stupidest question I've heard.
Carter Hart, by the way, I brought this up on Bill's show earlier today for the Las Vegas Knights. This is a hockey segment. Yes, I'm a fraud. I don't know much about hockey, but I think I can talk about this. For the Knights, they fell behind last night, game 5, so the Canes are up 3-2. Carter Hart is the first goalie to concede 4+ goals in each of the first 5 games of a Stanley Cup final. He's been bad. The Stanley Cup playoffs have been good. And one of my theories, or one of the things that it's not really a theory, it's just what my mind's eye is telling me. I think part of the reason these Stanley Cup finals have been good and fun, and why this Stanley Cup final, why the final itself, why this has been really good, and I should say Stanley Cup playoffs versus Stanley Cup final. You know what I mean? Why the playoffs have been good and why this final has been excellent is because these goalies stink. So you have pucks going in left and right. The other night, not last night, I sat down to watch game 4. And I've told you this with hockey. I think I just have awful luck because I sit down and I'm like, I'm going to invest in a hockey game. But sometimes hockey loses me for the same way that soccer does, where it's like it's a lot of waiting for something to happen, and then sometimes nothing happens. But I swear, I have bad luck for soccer and hockey because I'll watch 15, 20 minutes straight. I'll watch a full period. I'm going to go to the bathroom. The second I do, someone's scoring. It's always, the other night, game 4, I watched like the first 90 seconds of the game. I go to the fridge. I don't even go to the bathroom. I walk out of my room, down a hallway, across the dining room, into the kitchen. I open the fridge. I grab a drink, close the fridge. I did look out the window for a sec because the neighbors are getting a new roof put on. So maybe I stop for 10 seconds. Okay. I go back through the dining room, down the hallway, into my room. I get back. Not only are the Hurricanes up 1-0, they're on the power play. How? So I think part of this is just bad luck. So I missed it, but the point is there's just action constantly because largely in part, in especially this finals, the Stanley Cup Finals, these goalies stink. They're letting everything in. I was reading this at Yahoo before the show started. The Knights lost 4-2 to the Canes in Game 5. Now they head back for Game 6 with their backs against the wall. The Knights have used Carter Hart in goal for every postseason game, but is now the time to change to Aiden Hill. Well, if you would ask Torch,
Christ, that could be the stupidest question I've heard.
He would tell you no. John Tortorella was asked to be considered using Hill. He shot it down, like I said. That certainly points towards Hart starting Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final on Sunday night. Considering he's gotten them this far, it is a defensible position. Torts would agree. But Hill was the one in net when the Knights lifted the Stanley Cup back in 2023. He has the experience. The season was not ideal for Hill, posting an .870 save percentage and a .304 goals against in 27 games. The Knights brought Hart in because of Hill's struggles, and it worked to perfection. To get this far and to make a goalie change would go against everything Tortorella has done as a coach, which, again,
Christ, that could be the stupidest question I've heard.
The Hurricanes did make a goalie change, turning to Brandon Bussi, down 2-1 after Game 3. By the way, going back to some of these other series, like Uka Pecorino, that guy wasn't any good either. Just some random Finnish guy. Like, the teams with the best, the Jets, with that guy who locked it down in the Olympics, he's not in the playoffs. The Bruins are paying Swayman a bucket, first-round fodder for a team with a lesser goalie in the Sabres. The Hurricanes made a goalie change going to Bussi down 2-1 after Game 3. They both won games with 27-year-old first-year goalie in net, and now they're one win from a championship. Bussi was fantastic in the regular season and proved to be a great second fiddle to Frederik Andersen. He'll never prove that this year. The Golden Knights need to stick with Hart for Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. They might need to. Not only is he the one who got them there, but he was integral to 2 wins in the series. Even though he's the first goalie to allow 4 goals in the first 5 games of a Cup Final, he still did enough to secure 2 wins. That's incredible slant. Well, yeah. I mean, come on. He gave up 4 in 5 games, but they did win 2 of those games. Okay. Had Hill played earlier in the postseason or been better in the regular season, this would be a different conversation, but throwing a cold goalie in net in the biggest game of the year cannot be the answer. Torts did not check out of his Raleigh hotel room. He's confident in his squad, and that should show them. He should show them that by sticking with Hart. Throwing in a cold goalie in net in the biggest game of the year cannot be the answer. That didn't stop them with Mark Kotze once upon a time, or George Kataris in 2011. I know it's a different sport, but that's where my mind went. So I think a big part of the reason that these Stanley Cup Finals have been entertaining for a casual and a complete and total slap like me is the goalies stink. 1-0 is not fun to watch. 5-6, or the game that we got between the Wild and the Avs, was that the first game of the series? I think it might have been. What did that game finish? Like 8-7 or something ridiculous like that? It's fun to watch goals. And maybe that makes me a bad sports fan. Maybe that makes me a dum-dum, a bonobo. But it beats a 1-0 game. Brilliant hockey. Excellent goalie play. The sterling performance from the defenseman. It's like, okay, but man, I don't know who any of these guys are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who these defensemen are. I want to see the puck, the black thing, go in the goal, and I want to hear Sean McDonough lose his mind. He's quite good at it. I never really liked Sean McDonough on Monday Night Football. He was always like this. Just never really, but Monday night for the longest time just never really felt. They had to go get America's booth, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, to make it feel. So I don't even know that that's a Sean McDonough thing. But I love him on high. He can charge it up, man. Get an occasional voice crack. Scores! Very exciting. And again, I don't know the first thing about hockey, but I like watching the black thing go in the thing. I like watching that. And Carter Hart's made that easy. And so is Brandon Bussi and all these other guys. Like, there's just a bunch of nobodies in goal. for the most part, which makes it fun and watchable. Maybe not for you hockey purists, but I am not a hockey purist. The Brewers lineup is out for tonight. It's Mizorowski Day, so we have that to look forward to. The Phillies are using an opener. Now who's the small market calling now who's the large market calling the small market poor? Yelich DH leadoff. I don't like that. Churio, Terrain, Contreras, Bowers, Vaughn, Mitchell, Hamilton, Ortiz. I think if I had to try to go win a playoff game right now, those would be the players I'd want on the field. I would not want Renifo out there. I would want both Bowers and Vaughn in the lineup. It makes probably little difference whether Bowers and Yelich are the ones playing the field. I guess if you're trying to win a playoff game, maybe you'd put Yelich in the field just because of more experience. But Bowers has been fine too. And I think as of right now, I guess Garrett Mitchell is preferable to Sal Frelick. I do wonder with Sal at one point, they call up Luis Lara. They just paid him. It's crazy. They're paying two of their minor leaguers to sit on their 40-man and make major league money right now in Cooper Pratt and Luis Lara. Lara makes more sense. Then again, I don't know if you bring him up and platoon him with Frelick. I almost wonder if Frelick's a trade candidate this season, which is a bummer because in his best form, he's a good player that can help this team win games. But right now, he's no better or worse than what Luis Lara could provide. We talked about this with Spencer Michaelis. Is that on Monday? Was he on from Brewer Fanatic? He has a backfield brews to his Patreon's really good, covering the minor leagues, the top to bottom. Trust me, top to bottom. And Luis Lara is basically Sal Frelick right now. And they hope with a higher ceiling, which is why they've extended him. They think that some more power is in there, and that's something that could trend up. But elite defense, elite defense, great speed, great contact. Okay, well, just trade Sal and then bring that guy up then. Because at least then there's a hope that it could get better. I guess Sal Frelick could start playing better, but he looks lost against lefties. He's behind on everything. He's down 0-2 in every count. I don't know. So if I was trying to win a playoff game right now, I would prefer to start Mitchell as my third de facto outfielder, Yelich, Churio, Bowers. Or Yelich, Churio, Mitchell. It's a little weird because Yelich, I in my mind, I slot as the outfielder, even though he's the DH, so Bowers kicks out to the outfield. But the three outfielders from that group, the players from the outfield group, Yelich, Mitchell, and who's the other one right now? I guess Frelick. Like, that's who I'd take. And Churio, clearly. Probably stepped on myself at the end of that segment, but that's fine. You get my point. An NBA thought to close the first hour. Bart Winkler is going to join us at the top of hour number 2 to talk World Cup. He's very good at it. I recorded with him earlier today, so you'll hear that. Also a feature from Mike Clemens in hour number 2. Final thoughts for hour number 1. More of your phone calls. It's a Free Phones Friday, 608-321-1670. And continued NBA thoughts on what was one of the best playoff basketball games I've ever seen in my life.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
It's not for me.
Just not for you. Not your bag of chips. What does that mean? The 7'4" guy who can do everything just isn't not for you.
First of all, it's like 7'6", and like he can do most of everything. He is undeniable defensively. He's gonna get better offensively, but you are 7'6", my guy. I don't care what you're trying to spin of like 7'4". You might even be 7'7". Get into the paint because no one can stop you. But I think the biggest thing I just find him to be very pretentious, and I think there's a lot of act to it.
Interesting.
Like, you cannot be the ethical basketball guy and all the other stuff that we've heard about Wemby, and then turtle in some of these spots, do some of the stuff that you're doing with the flagrants, and like, well, I get beat up too, so I'm giving it back. Like, you're giving it back to 6'1" Jalen Brunson. Congrats to you for sticking up for yourself.
Justin Garcia, nobody doing it like that guy. Not for me. Oh, you're 7'6". It's too tall. He can do most things. If you have an NBA thought, the finals will continue tomorrow. Spurs are now down 3-1. Knicks are up 3-1, depending on how you want to view it. That's on the table. I shared a hockey thought with you. We mentioned a Packers thing or two. Free phones Friday. We'll take 2 calls here before 5 o'clock. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Happy Fins Up Free Phones Friday, Grant. How's it going, man?
Big Ron, I'm doing excellent. Your guy, Bart Winkler, coming up in about 10 minutes, so you can look forward to that, too.
Oh, yeah. Big Winkler fan. Big Winklerverse fan.
Hell yeah.
How is Andrew Vaughn is hitting almost 370, and he's not playing every day? How does that make sense? In what world does that make sense?
His righty-lefty splits are, well, here's the thing. He's not bad. He's much better versus one or the other, and I'm pulling it up just because I want to get it right. He's just so much better. He's out of this world from against one side. I also think with Jake Bowers playing this well, like I think it's probably a benefit to him. I think he doesn't have to play every day. They don't rely on him every day. He's getting into most of these games, to be fair. And of course I'm struggling to find the stats. I just think the Brewers have found a nice balance for him.
He's a righty hitter, so if he has normal splits, he'll be hitting better off lefties.
Yeah, so he's hitting 548 against lefties, 279 against righties. So he's not bad against righties. Good for
279 is very healthy.
I agree. It's excellent.
It's probably not a big sample size because he's been sitting against righties. He hasn't been playing. He doesn't probably have a lot of plate appearances.
Only 61. That makes no sense. He actually has more. That's weird.
He has more against righties than lefties. Oh well.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Go ahead, continue though. Sorry, Big Ron.
So I'm just staying with this system that Mizorowski's pitching tonight. Take the Phillies first 5 under. You have to bet $14.50 to win 10. So it's a little steep on the juice, but it's worth it. Mizorowski's not giving up 2 runs in the first 5. He's just going to mow them up and mow them down.
He's got some angst against the Phillies too. After last year, they all threw a fit because of the Christopher Sanchez thing.
Yep. And then when Christopher Sanchez pitches later in the weekend, that's the Brewers' first 500 because I don't think they're going to be able to hit Sanchez. I mean, he's been just as good, if not better, than Mizorowski this year. So
I like the strategy.
Yeah, it's 11 and 2 since I started doing it, and it's probably better than that because I didn't catch on to it right away. but it's got a very high winning percentage. So, I mean, I lost. I went 0-2 because Harrison did not do well in that bandbox that they were playing in Vegas, and then Sanchez actually gave up 2 runs.
And he was struggling to command 2 big run. I'm sorry I'm going to run because I just want to get to 2 others. I'm interested to see Kyle Harrison's next start because, yes, it was a small ballpark. I also think he was working through some other issues there, so I'm excited to see how he comes out of that because I don't think that was just the ballpark. I think that was also just a bad start. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant Squeebs in Milwaukee. How are you?
I'm doing great, Squeebs. How about you?
I got some dirty, rotten, no good news.
What's that?
Them Cooley boys are breaking up at the end of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Breaking news. They're ready to spread their wings and do their own thing. So, as a fellow Cooley lover and understanding how awesome they are, just thought I'd let you know.
They just played at the Tremplo Hotel. They have Squeebs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry everyone had to hear it this way. Appreciate the call. Well, that's a bummer. I saw them we took a trip to Marquette last winter. So we were 7 hours from home, 6 hours from home. We're like, let's go over to the brewery across the street. It was across from our hotel. Let's go see if there's live music there tonight. We walk over. Who is it? Oh, it's them Cooley boys from 25 minutes from where I grew up. Well, RIP. Well, now I'm going to have to see them this year. I thought you said they were breaking up to like focus on their families or whatever. That would be lame. I'm glad they have individual projects going. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Grant, Tony from Texas. Hey, hell of a show you got going on.
It has been a fun variety today. I've enjoyed this.
Oh, man, it's great. Yes, you got Kenny Chesney, Troy Aikman. You got put the two together. You know what I'm talking about, Grant. You got hockey talk, the hockey playoffs, unbelievable playoffs. I don't even watch much hockey, but the playoffs have been great. And then these finals, one of the wackiest NBA finals I've ever seen. Justin Garcia, not a huge fan of Garcia, but that guy, he has some profound words right there. He is right about Wembanyama. That's why I didn't buy the Wembanyama hype, and I'm surprised he's this good. Like,
yep.
You apparently are the Mel Kiper of basketball. You thought he was that good. I didn't really know. And
I don't understand. He was the consensus #1 overall pick, top prospect. I mean, what do you want? I didn't tell you he was going to win 6 titles.
Sean Bradley was 7'6" too, or 7'5". I don't know anything about this guy until he came into the NBA. Is he a damn good player? Yeah. But that is softer than Sharman. That dude's getting pushed around. And then De'Aaron Fox. By the way, De'Aaron Fox. You know I'm a highly successful AAU coach.
Yeah.
This guy, De'Aaron Fox, had an AAU team down in Houston. It folded. This guy's an idiot. What a dummy. He totally lost that game for the Spurs. If I'm a Spurs fan, I'm pissed.
I like De'Aaron. Tony, I appreciate Tony, I'm just going to cut it off there. This is a perfect place. We got 60 seconds at the top of the hour. I'm just going to cut it off clean. You gave us a lot. I like De'Aaron Fox. Seems like a good kid. Why do I like De'Aaron Fox? He was drafted to the Kings. I used to watch a lot of Kings basketball, my league pass at night. They were my West Coast team. And I saw him on Cowherd's show one time, and I thought he seemed just like a righteous dude. If you're telling me his AAU team folded, I'd tell you, Tony, you know what? Good. I wish more AAU teams would fold. Not yours, because you're highly successful, clearly. I wish that the Spurs would have won the other night, if only for the sake of the series. Like, now the series is kind of done. I don't like a 3-1 series because now, look, even if the friggin' Spurs win tomorrow night, like, no one's going to buy into it. The perfect example of this for me is when the Panthers and the Oilers went 7 2 years ago after the Panthers went up 3-0. And it's like the whole time you're pulling for the Oilers, you're trying to get excited, but they're probably not going to win. So, like, what's even the point? I don't know. So I don't like 3-1 series. Most people don't. Bart Winkler going to join us next. We're going to talk World Cup, and then we're going to talk a little Bucks and Packers as well. You hear a little bit from Mike Clemens this hour as well. Hour number 2. But first, an update from our sports director, Zach Heilprin. Don't go anywhere.